Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the perfect older man for me. So if you want to hear about what that older man looks like, keep on watching. First, I want to give a shout out to my very much appreciated Patreon members. I have more supporters over there than I ever have had, and it's just amazing, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on my pictures from my latest photo shoot. So if you guys want to see some of those pictures and other exclusive content, definitely check out my Patreon. You won't regret it. So this weekend, I had my first hookup in over 6 months outside of the adult film industry. And I say that because some of you may know that I worked in the adult film industry. I don't consider those to be real hookups, but some people might. I just don't, because there's no feelings there. So I had the perfect hookup with this guy this past weekend, and he's a friend with benefits. I've known him for the past 4 years, and it was just amazing. Like, it really brought me down to earth, and it felt like therapy for me. It felt like I needed that, and I just wasn't planning for it. It happened so spontaneously, and I want to share that with you guys. But it also got me thinking, what would be a perfect boyfriend for me? What kind of guy would that be? What traits would he have? What would he look like? What would he like to do with his time? So we've known each other for 4 years, and he used to come up and hang out with me, and we would just hook up, and he would stay the night and then leave the next day. So I just figured that's what he wanted to do again, and I wasn't super excited to do it because I already had things planned for the weekend, and it was Easter as well, so I knew it was going to be kind of busy. But I still thought that I should try to fit in some time for him because I missed him, and him and I usually have a great time together. So some things that I like about Tyler: he is very affectionate, and normally I don't like PDA. It kind of makes me uncomfortable, but he just has a way of making me feel safe and just right at home. He likes to hold my hand when we're in the car together. He always insists on driving, which is awesome because I drive everywhere and it's just nice to ride passengers sometimes. We also had very similar upbringings. He's from a small rural town and I'm from a small rural town, so there are similarities that small towns share, like everything gets around very quickly. It's harder to come out in high school. You might not have any LGBT people to look up to in your community. And those were all things that we related to. And I think that was something that really made me respect him and like him a lot. He's also driven to make something of himself. He's not just coasting through life, and he works very hard. He has a great work ethic, and he's been at the same job for the last 3 years, I think, and that just shows dedication and great work ethic. And I also think that it shows character, strong character. So those are all traits that I really, really like about him. And I haven't found a lot of those same traits in other guys that I've hooked up with or dated in the past. Now, he's also very, very good in bed. And of course I had to include that because I'm glowing from this weekend. I'm on cloud 9, but I think that's important too. When you're trying to find or look for a boyfriend, you need to know how they are in bed because that's so important. It's not the entire relationship, but it's a huge portion of the relationship. And if that isn't there and the chemistry isn't there, what are you doing? Are you guys friends? Why are you even hooking up at that point? And I'm the type of person where if I hook up with somebody or if I attempt to hook up with somebody and there is no chemistry, I have no issue stopping and just not doing it. Some people feel like they have to finish up when they get to that roadblock, but I'm not like that, and I have walked out of hookups before. Not in a rude way, but just oh dude, I'm not feeling this, I'm sorry, and just in the most respectful way possible. But when that chemistry isn't there and I feel like I'm just taking this and dealing with it so there's no awkward energy, it brings me back to that mindset of being in the adult film industry and disassociating because I was so unattracted to the partner that I was working with or whatever. And I just don't want to allow myself to get back into that mindset. So unless I'm very attracted to somebody, I will not be hooking up with them. And I'm very attracted to Tyler. Now, there are some things that bother me about him, but come on, we're all human. We all have downfalls. We all have less favorable traits. One of these things that bothers me about him is that we've been hooking up, not regularly, but at least twice a year for the past 4 years. Now, he's brought up the topic of relationships before, and at the time that he brought it up, I thought, wow, I'm glad that we're on the same page. Like, I really like you, and we had hung out a couple times before that at the time, and I just felt like really excited that we were on the same page. And it wasn't until like 2 days after that that he changed his mind and he was already hanging around some other guy, and I just felt like, man, what? Come on now. You know, like, that is so wrong. And I quit liking him so much. I quit giving so much of my energy and, I don't want to say heart, but just my energy to thinking about him because I knew that he wasn't thinking about me in the same way. Another thing that kind of bothers me is that I only see him every couple of months. So we hung out this past weekend and he left on Sunday, and we talked about when we're going to hang out again, but we've done that in the past as well, and it just hasn't happened. And I see him again in 5 months. So that's kind of a cycle with us. And it's okay, but I also wish that it could be more stable. I wish that it could be more regular and we could have the opportunity to get to know each other better and see how each other lives and the kind of people that we are. Because when you're hanging out with somebody for 2 days at a time every couple of months, you don't really have that much opportunity or ability to get to know that person or the things that they like and the things that you don't like about them even. So I do wish that I saw him on a more regular basis. Another thing that kind of bothers me about him, and I don't want to say this, and I hope he's not watching this, but he probably is. I've had other people in Phoenix tell me that they've hooked up with him and done very similar things that me and him have done together, and it just makes me feel less special. You know, it makes it feel like, oh, maybe that time we went on that hike or that time that we went on that road trip wasn't special. Maybe this is what you do with everybody. And he also kind of opened up to me and confessed that to me. Like, yeah, this is pretty much what I do with everybody. So at the end of the day, it really is my fault for being so emotionally fragile in the beginning with him because I was very lonely and I really liked him. I hadn't met another guy out here in Arizona that I liked as much as I liked him and that I had as much in common with. So I was really trying to make it work despite the fact that he was living an hour away from me. But he was not interested in that. And that's okay. But he's also younger than me, so I have to put that into perspective as well. I do want to reiterate, guys, that this hookup was amazing. I needed this to happen. Like, I was very stressed beforehand, and I definitely feel a release of the stress this week. I feel like it's all gonna be okay. You know, everything's okay. And when things get a little bit too tough, I have a way of like going back into my mind and thinking, oh yeah, I was just on this bed with him on Saturday. And mind you guys, he was the first guy I hooked up with on this bed. So now this bed has been broken in. Him and Lucky got along great, and he loves him. So that made me feel really happy. And one of the things that made me nervous about getting Lucky was that it was going to negatively impact my dating life. I have found a way to coexist with him perfectly. And Lucky has the whole half of my apartment, and I have this half of my apartment. And it's also nice that I have doors in my bedroom now. I'm not in a studio apartment anymore, which I will never go back to a studio apartment, but I had to put my time in and see what that was like. So it really got me thinking, what would my perfect boyfriend look like? Because again, I really like Tyler, but I'm not holding my breath on him. I don't think he likes me in the same way that I like him. And I don't think that he would be willing to date long distance, which is okay, and I completely understand. But it's also really nice to have friends with benefits rather than hooking up with somebody new who you might not trust, who you might not like. So I'm really grateful for that as well. He's one of my few friends with benefits. And I mean, 4 years, I mean, come on, it's gotta be good if we're still going strong after 4 years. So my perfect boyfriend would most likely be older than me and have a little bit more wisdom than me because I like to ask questions and I like to learn. If I don't know something and I ask my boyfriend, oh, what does that mean? Like, where's that from? And he's like, I don't know. That's kind of annoying to me. I'd rather ask my boyfriend and him be like, oh, that's from 1990 something and so said this and then this happened. I know it's a crazy example, but I'm just trying to explain to you guys that I am attracted to wisdom. It's weird, but yeah, I like somebody who knows more than me. I feel like I have gone through tons of trials and tribulations, more than the average guy my age. And I feel like I'm kind of bored with guys my age, you know? So another thing would be that he has to live close to me. He doesn't need to be like down the street, but less than an hour away. Easy enough where we can meet each other halfway somewhere if worse comes to worse, or I can drive to his place and not have to worry about getting stuck in traffic or anything crazy like that, or having to fill up my gas tank just to get there. I don't think I would entertain a relationship like that, so definitely would have to live close to me. Also, the perfect boyfriend for me would have to have an active lifestyle. When I say active lifestyle, I mean he would have to enjoy kayaking and hiking and road tripping and exploring and sightseeing and stuff like that. People who just want to be inside all the time and want to stare at a TV and watch movies all day long and just be lazy and snack and stuff like that, or even just go out and go drinking and bar hopping. That stuff is not fun to me at all. It actually makes me depressed. Definitely has to have an active lifestyle to be my perfect boyfriend. Also, one of, if not the most important things that the perfect boyfriend for me has to have is he's got to be ready when I'm ready. You know, it can't be, oh, I'm not feeling it, or not tonight, or let's do it later. It's got to be, oh, let's do it right now. And I think that goes hand in hand, no pun intended, with the being affectionate thing. Because if somebody's very affectionate and they like touching you and they even smelling you or like kissing your neck, like that just shows that they're excited to be in your presence and even more excited to be in the bedroom with you. If somebody's not so touchy-feely with you and rarely kisses you or rarely does anything nice for you without being asked, don't be afraid to question things, because if you don't, then time will go by and you'll turn around one day and look at, and be like, what did I do? How did I let this happen? I think it's important to listen to what your gut feeling is telling you. I know I always say gut feeling, but it's so important, because when your gut / your heart is trying to tell you something, it's not just going to smack you in the face and be like, hey, wake up, do this. It's going to send different symbols and signals in your life that might not add up until you really start to sit down and take them all in. So the final trait is that he's also got to be very touchy, very affectionate, not afraid to kiss me, better have good breath. Better have good breath, because one thing I can't stand is bad breath. And I used to smoke cigarettes in high school. I know, gross. But after I kissed somebody in college, hottest army guy ever, after I kissed him and he just got done with a cig, oh my gosh, it was just repulsive. I still have the taste in my mouth. 6 years later, I still have the taste in my mouth. It was a lot. It was a lot. And it was enough to make me wake up and be like, oh my gosh, is this what people are going to taste when they kiss me? I wasn't rude to him by any means, but I kind of just took it inside and it stuck with me. So my conclusion with this video is that I'm ready to put myself out there again. You know, I had a really great time with him. It felt like I was living in a fantasy as his boyfriend. And it was really nice. It was really nice to wake up next to him, and I gave him a massage, and it was nice to just touch another guy again and not get paid for it and not feel like I'm here for work, you know? It's a hard thing to explain. It's a weird phenomenon, but I'm getting out of that now. And I'm stepping back into the real world and living as a real person. Life isn't just about working and paying, guys. You gotta save some room for playing. And I haven't been saving room for playing. I have been working my butt off since the new year began, especially since I left the adult film industry. And you can't just work, because you're gonna get to a point where you just stall out. Last week, I got pretty close to that point, I gotta say. That's one of the reasons I didn't upload a video on Friday, guys. I ran out of time. I had so many obligations that I needed to do. I also did an interview with a YouTube channel called The Powers Project, and that should be up sometime this week. But yeah, it was a podcast, and it was very much like Joe Rogan, his kind of style, where it's more of a conversation rather than me being interviewed and answering questions. So once that is posted, I will share that with you guys on my community page so you can go check that out. I'm really excited to hear your feedback on it because it's all unedited and makes me nervous, because I can't clip and cut when I stutter or say things that might not come off in the most intelligent way. What are your ideal traits for your perfect boyfriend? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe we have some of the same ones. Who knows? Alright, well thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!